All right, finally a short video, I promise. We're going to talk again about approximating with a calculator. So we've done this a little bit before, but I just want to review, okay? So let's do example 7. Approximate with a calculator to 3 decimal places. Part A, the sine of 5 pi over 9. And again, there are 3 main ways of doing this, okay? You can use a physical calculator, you can use Google, or you can use Desmos. Desmos is really only useful for radian measures, but the other two work with radians and degrees. I love using Google. Google is a great calculator. Okay, and you can use your computer for everything in this class, so it's not a big deal. So to type this in, we're going to approximate this. Let's see what these things tell us. So sine of 5 pi over 9, if we wanted to use Desmos, which we can because it's radians, we could go in here and type in the sine of 5 pi over 9. And it tells us right there that it's about 0.985 is how we'd round it. Or you can use Google. The sine of 5 pi over 9, and you just type pi for 9. So an advantage to Desmos is that it formats it really nicely, right? You see the pi here, you see the fraction here, whereas typing it into Google doesn't format it as nicely, okay? Either way, it's 0.985. We go back over here and write that down. And we can do this again. The sine of negative pi over 10. Again, you can either use Google or your physical calculator or Desmos. Sine of negative pi over 10. Looks like that in one way. Sine of negative pi over 10. Same answer, negative 0.309. Okay. Fun fact, the entire state of Wyoming has the same area code, and it's 309. So March 9th is like Wyoming Day. Anyway, let's do some more. Part C. Cosine of 270 degrees. And remember, when you're using degrees, you have to make sure that your calculator's using the right units. So in Desmos, well, Desmos doesn't really deal with degrees, at least not to my knowledge. But what we can do, I already forgot the thing, cosine of 270 degrees. Just type in DEG. Whoa, it's 0. What a shock. Cosine of 270 degrees is 0. Exactly. Thanks, calculator. And remember that this should make a little bit of sense. Because what's 270 degrees? That's a quadrantal angle. On the unit circle, what's this point? It's 0, negative 1. On the unit circle, cosine's the x-coordinate. That's why cosine's 0. Sine of 270 degrees would be negative 1. All right. Let's do one more. Cosine squared of pi. Now again, a very important note, right? Remember that cosine squared of pi, if you type this in, depending on what, Google probably actually knows what to do with this, but your calculator is probably going to get really confused. Remember that this is just cosine of pi squared. Okay. So again, can tab over here. Let's see if Google can handle it. Cosine squared of pi. Yeah, maybe not. Wolfram Alpha probably could. Let's say cosine of pi squared. It's going to give us positive 1. Similarly, Desmos. Oh dear. Cosine of pi squared also gives us positive 1. All right? That's what we've got going here. Because again, cosine's a quadrantal angle, or pi is a quadrantal angle, pi is 180 degrees. And on the unit circle, that's this point. Cosine is the x-coordinate, -1, square it to become positive 1. And there we go. One more example, and then this video will be done. And hopefully I won't lie to you, and it will indeed be a shorter video. This is actually kind of a longer problem. Find the reference angle, the quadrant of the terminal side, and the sine and cosine of the angle. And round to 3 decimal places. And in my notes that I wrote for this video, I didn't actually put an angle here. So let's just make one up, okay? Let's say 280 degrees. So let's draw a picture. Here's all the things we're being asked, right? Reference angle, quadrant, sine, and cosine. So let's draw a picture. 280 degrees. That's 270 plus 10 more. It's going to kind of look like this. It's 280 degrees like this. If this last little bit is 10, then our reference angle is 80 degrees, because 10 plus 80 is 90 degrees. That's how we know that that remaining amount is 80 degrees. So the reference angle is 80 degrees. What quadrant is the terminal side? This quadrant. Quadrant 4. What's the sine and the cosine? Well, the sine of 280 degrees, we'll use a calculator, right? Because there's no special triangle, right? This is our triangle right here. 80 degrees, 10 degrees. There's no special triangle for this. So we have to use a calculator, and we're going to have to approximate. So we'll use it for sine. We'll use it for cosine. And remember what we're expecting. All squids train camels. So we're expecting that only cosine's positive here. So we should expect a negative number for sine. Let's see if it's right. Sine and cosine of 280 degrees. Sine of 280, DEG, is negative 0.984. Round it to 3 decimal places. Negative 0.985. It was negative, as we expected. And we just switch that to cosine. What do we get? Cosine of 280 degrees is positive 0.174. Okay. There we go. And that's our answer. Good luck. Have a great day. Happy mathing. Goodbye.